Brain-machine interfaces. They sound like science fiction, but they're already here. They're helping paralyzed patients speak again, enabling robotic limbs to move with nothing but thought, and turning silent neurons into living action. But most people still think it's mind reading. It's not. It's something far more powerful and more precise. Your brain doesn't send out thoughts like words. It speaks in electricity, tiny pulses, bursts of voltage between billions of neurons firing thousands of times per second. Every blink, every imagined movement leaves a trace in that storm of electrical activity. And brain-machine interface, it listens to that storm and tries to translate thought into something a machine can understand. So how do we actually listen to the brain? We use sensors, tiny devices that detect changes in voltage every time neurons fire. The most common devices is EEG, which stands for electroencephalogram. Its non-invasive devices require no surgery. It's just a cap of electrodes resting on your scalp, quietly recording brain activity in real time. They're safe, portable, proven, but it's also limited. When neurons fire deep in the brain, their signals have to travel through tissue, through bone, through the skull. It's like trying to hear a whisper from behind a thick wall. If we want clarity, if we want to see individual neurons as they fire, we have to go much deeper than that. To go deeper, we're going to use implants, such as the Utah ray, a tiny grid of hair-thin needles, each one recording directly from neurons, have hundreds of channels, capturing real-time brain activity with millimeter precision. But even the Utah ray, that's not the only approach. You also have Neuralink. Neuralink is rewriting the script using threads thinner than a human hair, surgically placed with a robot designed to minimize damage and maximize detail. And then also there is paradromics. Paradromics is aiming not just for precision, but also for massive bandwidth, thousands of channels, direct neural data streaming, like plugging a USB straight into the brain. And you also have Synchron. Synchron takes a radical turn. No drilling, no open brain surgery. They guide their electrodes through blood vessels, accessing the brain from the inside out. These systems all live on a spectrum: safety, signal quality, bandwidth, permanence. More clarity often means more risk, and less risk usually means less detail. And depending on the goal, the best interface might be resting on your scalp, like the EEG, or embedded deep into your brain like the Utah ray, paradromic, Synchron, or Neuralink. Now, capturing brain signals is just the beginning. The real challenge is, can we understand them? When you imagine moving your left hand, your brain would fire a unique pattern. When you blink, focus, or think of a word, your brain would fire a different pattern. But these patterns are messy, noisy, different from one person to another, and even from one moment to another. So how do we decode them? We use what is called machine learning. We ask the person to think of a specific thought, like imagining moving their hand. Then we record the brain activity over and over for hundreds of times. Eventually, the system starts to recognize the signal and learn that pattern. It's not just reading your mind, it's a pattern recognition. And after enough learning, the machine knows, hey, when I see this signal, I would trigger this action. In that moment, thought becomes movement, not because the machine is magical, but because it was trained to understand you. Not every brain-machine interface relies on imagined movement. Some use your eyes, some of them use your attention, some listen for your brain's reaction to surprise. One powerful method is called SSVEP, which stands for Steady State Visual Evoked Potential. Basically, you stare at a box that flashes at, say, 12 times per second, and your brain literally echoes that rhythm. Each direction flashes at a different speed. The system detects which frequency your brain lock onto and knows where you're looking, and that becomes your command. Another method is called P300. It's based on surprise. Imagine rows of letters flashing. When the letter you are thinking of appears, your brain spikes. That spike is the signal, and the machine reads it. Remember, each method taps into a different part of the brain. Motor imagery captures intent. SSVEP reads focus. P300 would detect surprise. But the goal is always the same, is to find signal your brain can reliably produce and turn it into control. Whether it's imagining emotion or focusing on a flicker light or reacting to a flash, brain-machine interfaces use whatever signal the brain gives us, then they decode it in real time. So once we decode a brain signal, what can we actually do with it? Today, people with paralysis are typing, grasping, reaching out to the world again, using only their thoughts. There are brain-controlled wheelchairs, brain-controlled drones, even brain-controlled video games. And the signal doesn't have to be perfect. The machine just needs to recognize enough to translate intention into action. But this is just the beginning. What happens when brain-machine interfaces become faster, more precise, and completely seamless? What happens when a thought can be sent to someone else? Researchers are already testing brain-to-brain communication. No speaking, no gesture, just shared intent. Others are restoring memory, simulating vision, even letting people speak again with just their mind. But with every breakthrough come deeper questions. Who owns your brain data? Can it be hacked? Should we enhance healthy minds or only repair damaged ones? We are not just building interfaces to machines anymore. We are rewriting the boundary between intention and action, between you and everything else. So when people ask, are brain-machine interfaces the future? The better question is, are we ready?